All right, it is now 5 p.m. I'd like to call the June 22nd, 2021 Fire District 5 Commissioner meeting to order. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
I'll second it. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, any commissioner absences coming up here? Anybody to be gone? Seeing none. All right, any communications to the board?
None.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the June 8th meeting?
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, how about some voucher approvals?
I'll move that we approve the accounts payable vouchers as outlined in the agenda totaling $230,033.02.
I'll second that.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. Any reports from local 3390 tonight?
I think they might be at the Washington State Council.
Oh, there's that convention thing going on.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, well, good
Oh,
luck to
hey, look, he just popped down. I could be wrong. Look at that.
Oh yeah, there's Jake.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
All right. Enjoy the thriving metropolis of SeaTac up there.
Oh, it's a beautiful DoubleTree hotel. Thank you.
I know. Yeah. All right, Chief's reports.
Thank you. First, Chief Bierstrom has a report.
And I don't think I can top the locals report, so I won't even try. COVID, on the COVID front, we remain in phase 3. Our 14-day case rate is 108 for 100,000, 4.4 hospitalizations for 100,000, 4.2% positive test rate. And the importance of all that is we continue to trend down, and that's encouraging. I expect at the next meeting in July, we're going to get a set of updated rules. So I will we'll bring an update to the next meeting. A couple of items through my week as duty chief, especially over this weekend. Something I don't normally share, but I think it's appropriate. Just another grim reminder of the effect of depression and despair in our community out on the bridge Saturday morning. It's all too frequent. That's one of the surprises I had in this career, was becoming aware just how often despair gets the best of some of the members of our community. Later that day, we had a structure fire down on Reed Drive. It was an outside-in fire, started on the outside wall, burned up through the bird blocking, got up in the attic. Crews arrived, got a line inside, got the ceiling pulled and quickly extinguished. They did a great job. No injuries to the homeowners or any of our crews. Unfortunately, with that kind of an operation, you're going to have a significant amount of water damage. So that's ongoing. Sunday, as you may have read in the paper, we had a shooting incident. About 11:30 in the morning, there was the sound of gunfire at 6200 block of 157th. Shortly thereafter, we had a man pull up to the Purdy Chevron. It's unclear as to whether he got out or an off-duty Puyallup officer arrived, and it's unclear whether he got him out or whether the victim got out and collapsed. But I do want to just take a moment and express our thanks to that Puyallup officer. Got him stripped, got the chest seals in place, and when Medic 51 arrived, there was an 86-second turn. That is a testament to our crews, but it's also a testament to the work that that officer did, getting him stripped and the chest seals in place, because that's stuff that our folks would have done. So we're going to send some appreciation that way. And that ends my summary of the weekend events.
Thank you, Chief. Let's see, for my report, we continue as our number one goal until October is to work on providing our capital needs assessment and to the board by October with a funding proposal. So to do that, we have signed that contract with Dynamix, and we are working on our standard of cover, and that is moving along fine. And Chief Langlow is heading that up, and we continue to work with them. With that, we also are looking at an Entera product, which I sent to you and we'll be going over later in the agenda. I had a meeting with Central Kitsap Chief Oliver and South Kitsap Chief Fawcett. We had a great meeting, talked about some things that we can partner together with. One of the things they asked me is if the three departments could come together to look at our physicals and how we return firefighters to work. I don't know if you know, in Boise, we put that together, and I spoke at a conference, and Chief Oliver asked if the three of us could come together and try to emulate that here in our area. So I'm excited to do that. I want to include the union. So the three unions and the three chiefs are going to get together very soon and try to create a partnership with those two departments. We also are looking at joining their training partnership. We talked about how we can, we're hampered by the two different dispatches from the counties taking so long when we border South Kitsap. That's something that we as chiefs can't solve. We got to get the dispatch together. So we're going to try to lead through that and bring those two dispatches together and see what we can do. We also, I learned a lot from them about their bonds and their levies recently. They had worked with a consultant named Liz Loomis, Public Affairs. So I called her. She works with bond levy projects, strategic communications, marketing and public relations, and grassroots advocacy. So I'll be having some conversations with her and with Chairman Wilsey on how we might move forward with a presentation from her or another group. But I did get to learn a lot from both Chief Oliver and Fawcett and what they've recently learned. So that was a great part of our meeting. I also met with Representative Jesse Young and Senator Emily Randall. I asked for their support as we move forward. And Representative Young said he would like to try to get us some state funding for our training facility. And Senator Randall said she would support that also. So, there's a lot of work still to be done, but to have both of them supporting us as we move forward and then looking for state money was very encouraging. I also meet with Councilmember Robin Denson tomorrow. Did a ride along with 58 and 59 the last 2 weeks, and tomorrow I'm going with 59 and having dinner with them. We had a negotiations meeting and started as a team. We've already outlined the negotiations with the union and set the days. So we're moving. We at least have the date set, and we're ready to move forward. We've started our budget process today. Had a meeting. I asked, since Chief Langlow and I are new, we have asked Chief Burgess to come and help us and assist us a little bit. we have plenty of smart people here in the department. But he just kind of helped set the stage for us today and gave us some advice, and we really appreciated that. So we will we have put together our budget timeline today, and we started mapping it out. So I'll be sharing with you and the department very soon, but we'll be making the call to the department for specific requests starting tomorrow. So we're starting to move there. I'm pretty proud of the IT consortium. I know it's been a long time running, but we've been having some great meetings. We're almost finished with our ILA and our cost allocation that I'll be probably able to bring to you next month. But we're moving along there, and I'm really encouraged by our participation with everybody in the 4 departments in the consortium, and what we're dreaming of next and how we can work together as a consortium. So that's been pretty exciting. We put out our hiring notice, I think it was yesterday or the day before, looking for laterals and new hires. We're hoping to get them in the door very early January, if I remember right. I think it was January 3rd, 4th, right in there. We don't know the number yet, but we're starting the process, and we're working through that. I've been asked to participate in the Maritime Parade and be a judge. And I'm duty chief during 4th of July, so I just plan on putting my uniform on for 3 days and being active and assisting the battalion chief with overhead and support. So that's kind of a quick report. Commissioner Wilsey or anybody else, you have any questions or comments about those things?
No, it sounds great, Chief. Thank you for that work as always. And thank you for getting out and riding around with the crews and being the duty chief for the 4th of July. That's hopefully, knock on wood, we'll have a nice, safe and sane one. So
yeah, I for some reason, the new guy got all the holidays. I don't know how that happened. The schedule was made before I got here, but I don't know how that happened.
yeah, there's a department seniority. It kind of sucks when you come from the outside, huh?
I was going to say that's low man, Chief. That's what happens.
That's what happens. I got all the holidays, so
somehow the bugles don't override the years for some reason, huh? Someday.
Oh well.
All right.
I am senior to Nick, but
yeah, yeah, that's right. You got one guy underneath you. Yeah, it shouldn't have happened then. That's your fault. All right. Any standing committee reports tonight? Anybody have any meetings? All right. Yep. Go ahead, Kevin. Looks like
As Chief Doan said that Chairman Alex and myself and him and Nick, we had a negotiations meeting to kind of get some things outlined and set up, and Tanya also. And so we're just got some dates and be moving forward.
Yep. And we'll keep the group updated as to our progress here, but we got a pretty aggressive schedule to talk about, and that what that's concerning particularly is the locals want to go to a 4th platoon with the department. So more to come on that. How about a financial report? Chief Langwell.
Good evening. My report, my verbal report is awfully short. It really is just in reference to the report that's in your board packets. So this is month 2 of the current format we're using. And really my question to the board, if there's any thing you'd like it to look different, it can still certainly be tweaked and changed. The goal is to get you guys a really good high level kind of look at where we're at in our budget as it relates to the position in the year and what we budgeted for and what our expenses and revenues are. So as you can see on your report, we're just over 40% through the year to get us through May. And we're tracking well in our categories, and I'm happy to entertain any tweaks or changes you guys would like to see to the report. Otherwise, we'll continue to move forward with this format and continue to provide you with what we think is a good high level look at where the budget tracks as it relates to the year.
I just wanted to say I really appreciate the new one pager that we've been getting. I think it's really helpful to allow us to kind of see where we're at. And my only, I guess, suggestion, and take it or leave it, would be if we have a significant year over year change, either plus or minus, just, as you run through and give a brief explanation of the one sheet, just kind of say, hey, here's why this number in the right-hand column is what it is, because, it might be worth it for the people that are watching to know, like, okay, because it's often random, right? Like we'll receive a check from some entity at some point, and that's why, like there's one that says 69% or things like that. It just would probably be helpful just to do a 10-second explanation on some of those columns. But otherwise, no, it's great.
Sounds good. We can certainly do that.
I think it looks great. Good job.
No, and I appreciate the one pager, and then also just kind of the, the percentage as far as the year over year change, and then also, how much of the year we've expended, kind of gives it a little bit of flavor, so you understand where we're at and how far into the year we're at. So kind of used to seeing it in this form, so it's nice. So I appreciate it.
No problem.
Anything else there, Chief?
Nope, that's all.
All right. All right, so we're into my report. I just wanted to, at this point, just thank Chief Doan for looking into this. We're going to have some new business with a proposal coming up here. It's important groundwork for this department to do, and proud that that's happening. Also, just kind of a PSA for the heat that's coming this weekend. It's going to be very hot on Saturday, Sunday, so please keep that in mind. Take care of your kids, take care of your pets, take care of yourselves, hydrate often, and don't play around with the fireworks too much. The conditions out there, although people look out and see that it's very green, it's very dry. I've listening to the radio lately, there's been several large brush fires already in our area. So please do your part and try not to make it happen here in the district. So, all right. With that, it doesn't look like we have any old business on the agenda. Is there anything else on there, Tanya? Anything come up within the last hour or two?
No new business, no old business.
All right,
I'm sorry.
no old business. All right, so into the new business. I think we got Chief with the reporting and analytics proposal.
Well, thank you. Yeah, first, I had emailed you out, and it's in your packet, a proposal. One of the things that I want to do is take us to a more data-driven department, not just in our responses, but financially. The financially will be coming soon. Not that they're not doing a great job, but just a little more in projections and some futuring of our analytics of where we're headed. So to bring the first proposal to you is a group called Intera. I had sent you previously a webinar that we had done with International Public Safety Data Institute. We were very high on them, and we were leaning that way. But as a county, we are probably going to be going to Intera to use them for situational awareness, for operational uses. And at the end of the day, it came down to, we didn't want to use something and then make a switch in 6 months to a year. We contacted Intera and said, we can't wait for the entire county to move to Intera. Is there a way that you could just do Gig Harbor and the data analytics? And we asked for a demonstration, which I sent you a link to demonstrate the Intera product. I'm very familiar with Intera. It was used in my previous department daily. I used it, although data analytics is a little newer for them. I have used it for situational awareness and as an operational mode. So One of I'm actually going to combine it into the next one, the additional project funding proposal. But in your packet and the video and the email I sent you out was a request to move to Intera data analytics. The total cost was just under, was right at 10,000, or excuse me, 18 and 10, so $28,000. So I'm going to pause there first. I baked it into my next presentation on some additional funding proposal. But before we move to that, is there any questions, concerns, comments about the video that we sent you, or the proposal from Intera?
I love the video. That was really cool. Thank you for sending that out. My question is, what are we paying for a similar service now versus are we replacing anything? Is this additional to what we've been doing? Just a little background there.
Sure. Yeah, we are not doing this right now currently. So this is an addition. This is a way to track our engines and our response times. I wouldn't say that we've never done that. There are some stuff we can get from ESO, but this actually pulls from both ESO and CAD to give us some almost live data. It was within the next, every 24 hours it refreshes. We can see our response times and our turnout times and start making some data-driven decisions. So it's a new addition.
Chief, you said that this was likely to be countywide, I guess, product in the near future anyway. Can you talk a little bit about what you know about that? Would that be going through South Sound 911, or is that just all the fire districts and departments getting together and doing that?
So this would not go through South Sound, and it's not the entire county. I don't think Tacoma will be participating, but the rest of us will in moving to Intera. And it's we'll be able to get because we're all buying into it rather than each department buying Intera, we'll get economy of scale. We're looking at it for our situational awareness, for our operational analysis, and for our building pre-plans. Like I said, we used it in my previous department, and it was an excellent tool. So we're looking at it countywide. To bring that in. It won't be through South Sound 911. It'll be all the county chiefs.
So if we were to do that next year, or if we did this now rather than next year, are we just sort of front loading a startup cost that we might have had next year anyway to some degree?
Yeah, we'll have this cost. I don't know what the total, because we're going to buy a larger package with a lot of different things. I don't know what our cost will be. We haven't got that for the countywide. So we will be going to Intera countywide at some point. I won't know what that cost is. So when I called Intera, I said, I can't wait for all those add-ons. I need just data analytics just for Gig Harbor. What can you do for a year until we can get the entire system up for all of us? So you're right. We would have or will have a cost for Intera countywide in the future. I just don't know what that'll be because it'll be a lot more modules and a bigger system.
Do you have a time frame for when that'll happen?
I don't. It's always hard when we're working as a countywide team. I think we all want it. In our consortium meeting yesterday, we did have a discussion about it, that the need is there, and all of us want to move this forward as fast as we can. But I don't have a timeline for us to go countywide. I'm hoping within the next 12 months, though.
One last question. The doc that was in the agenda, I'm assuming this is just an error in their proposal. It says subscription cost options if purchased by June 30th, 2019. I'm assuming that was supposed to be this year.
Yes. I noticed another one where they had cut and paste and put another department's name in it. But yes, the date is wrong. So. All right, well, I'll roll this into my next one. So first, I think I made my first faux pas too. Well, I don't know, maybe it's not my first, but I realized today as I was going through this and working on it, that I probably should have came to the budget committee. So I skipped you, and I want to make an apology for doing that. I probably should have came to you first so that you would have given me some feedback and not surprised you here today. So I apologize for that. Second, I had earlier talked to, especially I know Commissioner Wilsey, when we were redoing some parking lots, and I had talked to him about possibly putting that on pause. And the reason I was thinking that is because as I was going around stations, I was noticing a lot of things, some minor things, but they were all adding up that I didn't feel comfortable with. I know there may be in the future some capital projects where we'll work on some stations, but at the same time, we can't be having the stations kind of falling around them and having some poor living conditions. Trying to weigh that versus it's going to be replaced, but not doing anything. I think we need to invest a little bit of money into the stations and into the needs that some of our firefighters are having in the stations. So I was at one time going to cancel a paving contract and then put that money towards some of our stations. The team came to me and said, we believe that parking lot's important. Let's continue that and let's put this together. We think that we can fund it in a different way and accomplish both. So I say that to say, I'm bringing to you a list of items, and let me just make the ask from the beginning, and then I'll go through the details and share my screen. So my ask is not to exceed $411,000. And now let me share my screen, and then I'll go over some of the things that I'd like to do. All right. All right, can you see that? I'm not great at technology. Can you see my screen? Great. All right, so let me kind of go through this. We put it in first, second, and third tiers. Just many of these are round numbers. It's a chicken and the egg. Do we spend a whole bunch of money and time vetting it out to get an exact number when you may not want us to do it? Or do we make some educated guesses around this and make some round numbers, and then I ask for a total not to exceed. So this is to outfit some of our engines and to fix some of our stations problems. Outfitting station or engine 24 and 26, our reserve engines, adding some key hose to our career engines. What this is some of our reserves aren't fully equipped. And the two things that can cause is, first, when we trade out an engine, we have to sit there and trade out all of our stuff, and it's time consuming. And also when we upstaff an engine, it's not fully ready. So this is just to outfit them with key hose. It would be $10,000 each for hose on 5 different engines. And then it would also be $15,000 to put thermal imagers and some tools and minor equipment on our reserve engines. Then all of our engines would be the same, along with our career engines, with our hose and our tools and our equipment. It would also be adding 2 sets of wireless headsets. We've went through most of our engines, but there's 2 of our apparatus that do not have our wireless headset, so it's having that on all of it. That would be $16,000 for those two apparatus. It would be painting the interior and apparatus bays of some stations. At station 52, 56, 58, and 59 would be the apparatus bays, and the interior of station 51, 58, and 59 for a total of $55,000. We want to do a light remodel on station 52 and 56 for the dorms. It would be $20,000 to have 5 beds in those stations. Our hazmat truck and trailer was delivered. It was a grant, but it's not. We need about $10,000 to get it over the finish line for some wiring fixes. Telestaff, if we go to a 4th platoon, we're going to need some telestaff configuration assistance. So we're asking for $10,000 to do that. Intera, which we just talked about, is $28,000. We're asking for the replacement of 3 radios for the airport at $7,500. And then I've talked to you about our fuel system has broken. We have it budgeted, but we're about $10,000 short. So that's our first level, our number one, the things that we really need to and believe we need to get to, and that's a total of $221,500. The second tier of things that we want to improve is some GTAC computers. For $28,000, it would be 7 of them. That would help our crews be able to do their run reports and on scene and with their MDTs. Next would be the heating system improvements at Station 51 for $30,000. And last is some kitchen tables at the 4 fire stations for $8,000. And that second level is $66,000. The third level of things we put them in priority so that if something were to happen, if we had some overages at the stations, we would not do some of the things in the third level if there were some overages. So those third level things are storage box on 7 engines. You know, we've added ballistic vests and other equipment to our engines, and we need to add some storage boxes. We were joking that maybe just getting a trailer for our engines would be best, but I think we're just going to put some storage boxes on 7 engines, and that would be $7,000. Engine 58, we had a paddleboard mount on there that didn't work out, and the paddle boards were flapping in the wind. We're going to ask Pierce to actually do that for us, and it will be $5,000. An additional F250 for logistics. We have a little bit of money left over from our last purchases, and by adding $30,000, we would be able to get another F250 for our logistics divisions. Some Conex props and improvements on search props for our training would be $35,000. And then some of our stations furniture, some of it is as old as the stations at 7 different stations, would be $6,500. Some PPE, specifically some rain gear at $15,000. Leadership consulting, some assistance for our command staff and leadership through the rest of the year, and our general staff of $10,000. And then a contingency fund for all this of $15,000. And that third tier is $123,500 for a total of $411,000. The way we would propose to pay for this is first look within our budget as we get to the end of the year if we have any surplus in the end of the budget. The second way is we have some CARES funding. The check should be here. We got a notice about 9 or 10 days ago that it would be here in 10 days. That's $348,000 that's coming in the next couple days. Now, of course, the CARES money goes to COVID, but those things are already within our budget. We budgeted them and have already spent that money. We also believe that we're going to go in excess in some GEMT funding. We don't know exactly what that is. So those 3 lines, whether it be finding it within the budget, the CARES infusion of $348,000, and the excess that we may get in GMT, we believe will more than cover this $411,000. But if those 3 things don't, then we would go last but not least to reserves to cover the $11,000 ask. So I will pause there and answer any questions. Chief Johnson is here to help answer any specifics you may have on any of these, or I can go back if I went too fast and give you those numbers again, or answer any questions.
So I just want to be clear, Chief, that the cost we saw from the Intera setup and subscription, that's included here in your first level ask, right?
Correct. That's $28,000 is in that right here, and Intera setup and subscription. That's $28,000 is part of that.
Correct. All right, perfect. Anybody else with some questions for either of the chiefs here?
Just one quick question. Go ahead, Tom.
No, go ahead.
So the CARES money is unbudgeted money. Is that correct?
Correct. We've already expended it. So it's, we need to use the CARES money for CARES things, but we have already expended that money in our budget.
But the revenue was unbudgeted.
Correct.
Okay.
I saw this, Chairman Wilsey and myself saw this last week when we set the agenda. I think this whole package is money well spent.
So I just want to add to Tom, I grabbed this because I knew we were going to be talking about Intera, and hopefully you can see it. It's well, because of my background, maybe you can't. It's my copy of Moneyball by Michael Lewis, which I think Chief Langlow probably is familiar with. I don't know if anybody else is, but there's a book written, man, probably 15, 20 years ago now about the Oakland A's and Billy Beane and how they were able to compete by using statistics and data. And they were sort of the first data-driven organization in Major League Baseball. And so the Intera stuff, I think, is inherently attractive to me because of, that's something that I'm interested in. And I think that it's critical for us to be able to utilize that data to provide better service. I mean, for us, the advantage is, it's not a competitive advantage like in sports, but the advantage would be we're providing a better service to the community. So I think the Intera stuff is money well spent. And I agree with Tom as well. I think all these things are important priorities. And I wanted to single out something in particular. With us deciding to go to 3-person staffing on our engines, I know that this organization in the past at 58 and 59 has sort of shoehorned in 5 bedrooms into those stations, and there's only 4 at 52 and 56. And I think that for example, this weekend when it's going to be super hot, or 4th of July weekend, if it's hot and busy, right now at 52 and 56, we really can't staff any additional resources because we're limited by the number of beds. And getting that 5th bedroom at those 2 stations for what's a pretty reasonable amount of money, all things considered, would, I think, have a pretty significant potential to improve operations. So I think that one's really important as well.
I agree. I think one of the things that we talked about in our last budget meeting we had, and I think Joe brought this up, was the importance of getting these stations livable for our crews. And so seeing this stuff is a big step in helping for where they spend a big majority of their life and for what they do for our community. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that was one thing that kind of shocked me as I went through a couple of the stations when I first started. And to see these little improvements, while it's not the complete makeover and that we hope one day to give them, at least it'll get them there, I hope.
All right. And yeah, I also concur. And I'd seen this earlier. I had asked the chief to break it into a few different levels just so that we had I see that first level. I mean, that's almost stuff that we have to do. Like, it's almost so we need to do it. The second level stuff is, that's the next in the importance level, because, we want to make sure, I know the check's coming, for the 348,000, and, I know we have reserves in place and all that, but at the same time, we need to keep a watchful eye on the money and how we spend it, and doing it in shifts, because it's all not going to be able to be done at once either. So keeping that in mind, and any other things that come up that end up at overages or whatever else, that we just kind of had an idea of what priorities were. So, but I honestly believe that it all should be done. It makes sense that we take care of the stations that we have, and make the accommodations that we need to as the department expands. So anyway, with that, I'm sure you're looking for a vote of approval of that tonight, Chief, correct?
Yes, please.
All right. So any more discussion on the funding proposal for the additional projects?
The only thing I would say, Alex, is I think if it gets to the point where we're talking about this kind of incoming revenue not covering it, that we revisit it just to be sure that we're okay with the reserves level we have. And before we pulled the trigger on any of the projects, we would just want to come back and have a discussion about it at that point. I'm confident that the money that Chief Doan has described is on its way, is going to get here and cover this.
No, and I believe that this will be over a long enough period of time where we're probably going to have check-ins over. Honestly, some of these things might take up to 2 years. So we're going to have to, come back and get updates and check-ins on where we're at, and probably task that to the chief and Chief Langlow to keep that watchful eye on that, and just update us where we're at as we get these big projects done. So, all right, any other discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the additional project funding proposal that Chief Doan has brought to us.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes.
And Chairman Wilsey, could I get you to please restate the motion?
Approve the additional project funding proposal by Chief Doan.
Thank you very much.
All right, Chief, any other comments about that, or?
I don't. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think it'll make a difference at the stations to take care of these things, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, with that, we're into open public comment. Anybody wishing to come forward, please state your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes. Do we have anybody wishing to address the board tonight?
Johnny's got his hand up, Alex.
All right. Mr. Hargroves. I see your spot on the screen, but I can't hear you, sir.
Okay.
There we go.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yep.
We didn't have video the last time. So Johnny Hargroves, resident of the West Side here. I just want to, in my conversations with some of your staff there at the headquarters, just wanted to bring to attention some thanks to Tanya Vandevate regarding the Gig Harbor Fire Medic One website. If you haven't been there, there's a couple of things, updates, enhancements that have been done there as far as navigations are concerned. So I just wanted to mention that when you go into the commissioners' minutes, agendas, resolutions, that those now have the different categories with the drop downs. I think those were ideas that, from my understanding from Tanya, and of course, kudos to her for those thoughts and everything. And also kudos to, I guess, for assistance from Melissa Herzog, who works there in the offices, and making that to come to fruition. Those folks sometimes, they work in the offices and they never get the kudos sometimes that are deserved. So if you haven't been out to the site to look at that in that category and those sections, those do have the 3 different categories and the years and the drop downs and everything for that. So again, in my transactions with Tanya and trying to navigate through the website, I did find it a a plus for those updates and enhancements. So I want to say appreciation and thanks to her and Melissa.
Thank you, Mr. Hargroves. And yeah, we appreciate Tanya keeps us all very organized and in line. And I don't think any of us would be close to as successful as we are if it wasn't for her, as well as all the other staff at headquarters, the day to day that, you know, produce us all this information reports and keep us on track. So thank you for your comments.
You're welcome.
All right. Anybody else wishing to come forward this evening? Seeing no others, we'll move on to good of the order. I meant to do this under my chairman's report, but I wanted just to follow up with everybody on the state of where our meetings are going to be going to or being held. Right now, we really don't know until after the governor's announcement at the end of the month. So we will most likely have our first meeting in July to maintain on this Zoom webinar platform. Chief Johnson and Tanya are also looking into getting some equipment so that when we do get the clearance and come back, we can have a hybrid type of meeting so that those that wish to come in person can come in person. We intend to hold it in person, but then also the hybrid function of the meeting so that if a commissioner possibly couldn't be there in person, we'd be able to participate. And then also the public would be able to participate via Zoom and be able to be there if they were able to not make it or weren't able to make it in person. So we're working on that equipment. It's, you know, a laptop and a camera and probably some microphone issue things. So they're looking into that and they'll get back to us and we'll have a better update probably at the next meeting. But for right now, the next meeting, Tuesday, July 13th, will still be on the Zoom webinar platform. And we'll let people know as soon as we know when it's going to change. So just to get that, is there any other good of the order tonight from any of the commissioners?
Alex, I wanted to say one thing. I probably about a week ago, I think it was, I was at work. I work in downtown Tacoma, just up the street from where Alex works. And I got a pulse point notification on my phone. My office is on the 10th floor of the building I work on. And the notification said it was at 11th and Yakima, which Alex knows is kind of up the hill from where I work. And there's two fire stations in real close proximity to where I work. And I could see that they were both dispatched on the call. So I didn't bother kind of running out of my office, trying to get an elevator, trying to go downstairs, walk out of the building, go up the hill. I knew they would get there way before me. But the point is that Pulse Point works. And I just wanted to sort of throw my own personal anecdote out there that it will notify you if there is a CPR call in progress and you're nearby. I mean, in that circumstance, I never would have beaten the professionals in there, but it definitely works. And so I think it's important for people to download it to their phone and get it set up to where it notifies you, because it could make a difference.
No, and that's a very good point, Commissioner Nelson. The app currently only sends out public places, right? There is another level to that. If you are a certified first responder or an EMT, there's an additional layer in that app that will let you be dispatched to residences, which still kind of in the beta phase for that. I don't think any departments have really leapt on that yet. We're kind of waiting to see how that goes. Obviously, a lot of concerns over legalities and pay for some departments if the members want to be paid to respond to those things. So there's a few sticky wickets when you get to that point of it. But I will say that so far with the public, notification of a CPR that's out in the public that people can go to is pretty impressive. So more to come from that too, I'm sure, no matter what.
And I looked on their, I've said this before, they have a Twitter feed that sends out automated tweets when a pulse point activation goes out. And the one that got me said that it had notified 9 people. And so that, that's 9 people that could potentially get involved and make a difference.
Nope, the seconds count. So. All right, any other good of the order tonight? All right, any special interests or upcoming events?
We got Wings and Wheels July 3rd and 4th, and then also the county fire commissioners this Thursday.
Perfect. Yeah, get out there, the Wings and Wheels. I heard some inside information that the Thunderbirds are no longer coming. So, but more to come. They're still on their app. It says it's still there. So that might be premature, but just keep that in your mind. Go ahead, Kevin. What do you got?
I heard the chief said that he is going to join the great number of people that have been a judge for the parade there. So the chamber we're having the Maritime Parade in July. Is that what you said?
August.
I think it's August. I
Oh,
want to
it's
say,
August. Okay,
Yeah.
so they are going to do it though. Okay, good.
Yep. And then also I got notification from I can't remember if it was the chamber of the city, but the nightly movies and the summer concert series down in the park will be starting up here. So good news, more stuff to get out and do and get back to regular life. So, all right. Anything else? All right. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting and remind everybody our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, July 13th at 5 p.m. via Zoom. Take care, everybody.
Have a great night, everyone.